What's going on, everybody? So I felt compelled to make today's video for no particular reason. This was something that I planned on doing eventually anyway, but for some reason something told me that it would be a good time to do it today. I don't know what that reason is, but today's the day that I'm going to talk about a very serious subject that is very important for my own life because of the things that I've gone through, the events that I have been a part of. It's also important for many other people. I'm going to talk about heroin and opioid addiction. Now, whether you want to stick around for that kind of thing or not, that's your choice. This is not meant to be a video for entertainment. This is more of a PSA, because even though I'm one person, the more of us that do our part, the better things can get, the more awareness can be raised, and the more people can get the help that they really need. I don't have that many subscribers yet. However, I do have a nice little community going right now, and it feels good to have people that you can connect with. There's plenty of you who show up for just about every live stream. You comment on every video, you send me feedback, you send me emails, direct messages on Twitter. You like the things that I post on Instagram. Thank you for those of you who have been doing that. I can't even tell you how much I appreciate that. So as a favor to me, for those of you who have been a part of the channel now ever since I jumped back into YouTubing, as a favor to me, please keep things respectful in the comments section. If you have very differing views on this particular subject, and maybe you're somebody that thinks every drug user is a piece of crap, please just keep that to yourself. I'm just asking you that nicely, and if you don't, that's fine. I'm not going to delete your comment. You can say whatever you want, because freedom of speech is something that I preach, and you guys know that by now. But please, for my sake, just understand that that doesn't help anybody when you say things like that. Raising awareness and spotting the problems that we have and the signs that somebody may be struggling with a drug addiction, that's where we're going to make progress. But please, just as a favor to me, please keep things respectful. That's all I'm asking. And if you don't, I'm not going to delete your comments, but that's all I can really say. That's all I really can do. I mean, I don't want to delete anybody's comments. That's not something that I want to find myself doing ever. But I'm just asking as nicely as I can. Please just be respectful. People have lost their lives. People are still struggling. There are households and families that have been torn apart by this thing. And to be degrading and hateful isn't going to get us anywhere with this thing. Out of respect to those who I have lost in my life personally, and it's more than 5 people, let's put it that way, to heroin addiction specifically, I'm not going to use any names. But if you're somebody that knows me, these are things that you already know. These are people that you knew, that you were friends with, and these are events that affected you as well. Not that long ago, a couple years ago now, I lost my best friend to heroin addiction. And to this day, I mean, I've gotten on with my life, obviously, but I'll never get over it fully. This was somebody that I used to do like everything with. I mean, as far back as sitting at the bus stop listening to Slipknot CDs. And just if you're not well read or very familiar with heroin addiction or drug addiction at all, you don't really have to be to understand the kind of impact this can have, because when someone dies, they die, whether it was in a car accident, a plane crash, an illness. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you lost that person. So that's where I think I can at least relate to some of you who may not have any real experience with this kind of thing. So just imagine that kind of loss. But now you insert the idea that this is something that can be prevented or halted or stopped. But sometimes it's too late. And that's what really kills me. And people like me, we get stuck beating ourselves down thinking that we could have done more. But as I've gotten older and have had these experiences on multiple occasions, I've come to the realization that you can only do so much, but you can't blame yourself when somebody loses their life to this thing. You can't put that kind of responsibility on yourself, because at the end of the day, it's up to that person to stop. It's up to that person to get help. But that's not to say that we're blaming them. That's not what I'm doing. Just for those of you who are going through anything like what I have, where you lose someone very close to you, and you kick yourself in the ass thinking that you could have done more. Did I do enough? Oh, I'm such an idiot. I knew I should have done this. I knew I should have done that. Don't do that. Some things are out of your control. It's part of the healing process for family members, loved ones, best friends. You can't blame yourself for anything. You can't. There are things that are out of your control, and you need to realize that. Just to give you an idea of how serious things have gotten over time, in 1999, statistics showed that only about 8,000 people died of an opioid overdose in that particular year. And now, we are up over 50,000 people a year that are dying from opioid-related overdoses. And that's not even just, that's just opioids. That's not drug overdoses. That's just opioids. So you can imagine how things have gotten worse. And I hate to even say it, but you know, we need to bring awareness to every aspect of this. And I'm gonna say it, and I'm not sorry for it. Ever since we invaded the Middle East after 9/11, which poppy plants grow in abundance in this part of the world, heroin is suddenly cheaper and stronger. And there's more of it. So how the hell do you think it got into the country? Who do you think seized it? There's a lot of money to be made in the drug trade. And the CIA has already been caught trafficking cocaine like more than once. I'm sure you can put those things together in your own head and decipher what exactly is causing all of this. The root of the problem is how it's getting into the country. And anybody involved with it, whether you're a drug dealer, a drug trafficker, or a kingpin, or even one of the smaller guys on the street, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself for adding to this problem. I don't care if you sell pot, because it's becoming legal. And I mean, how many? We're up over, I think, 10 states by now. So it's on its way to legalization. However, that's because it's not heroin. Heroin is a substance that can ruin your life. It can ruin an entire family, and it doesn't lead to anything good. Nothing good. The opioid prescription painkillers were being given out like they were sweet tarts at one point. And now that the thing has gotten out of control, this huge problem, this crisis, this epidemic, that's when the laws start tightening up. But there's a problem with that too. The people who are really in pain, those who have been in car accidents or have had major surgeries or anything of that sort, now they are falling victim to these new laws to prevent the abuse of these substances but now they're not getting the treatment that they really need because of all of this. So the whole thing is just a big mess. From the drug users to the people who are taking them as prescribed for something that they really need it for. And I don't know how to solve that problem. I don't. But I can at least do my part as far as addiction goes. Though personally, I believe one of the worst things you could do to someone is to immediately kick them out, because then you're putting them in a worse position. Now, it's your household, it's your family, it's your life, and that's a decision only you can make. But when you first initially find out that something like this is going on with someone that you truly care about, I really believe the first and best thing for you to do is to tell them that you love them and to offer them help if you have the means. Now, sometimes people don't have insurance, sometimes people can't afford the best treatment, but do everything that you can in your power to give this person the type of help that they require. Instead of just shutting them out, don't call them a piece of shit. You have to understand what heroin does to someone's brain. You can take someone that has never stolen in their life, and as soon as they get on this shit, the next thing you know, they are willing to do just about anything to get their hands on that drug, to stop the withdrawal, and to get that high that they're looking for. Trust me. I am of the belief that everybody can be helped, but ultimately, they have to want to help themselves. Sometimes they never reach that point, and unfortunately, they're stuck being an addict the rest of their life. Or even worse, they're lost. They become a casualty. It's our job, as people who have been affected by it, and those of us who are not using the drugs, to do what we can to help those who still are. I believe that this can be stopped. I believe that it's a problem that, while it may never be solved, we could bring those numbers way down. We could get it back to where it was in 1999. This wasn't always this bad, not even close. And if you are someone who is watching this video that is struggling, one recommendation I can make for you, especially if you have good insurance or even state insurance, find a doctor that prescribes Suboxone. And I know there's a lot of controversial opinions on this medicine, but it has saved many lives. It has pulled many people out of addiction. And again, I am of the belief, personally, that it is a good method to get yourself off of heroin. You can take the drug for a week or two, a few months, and maybe you were such a heavy user that you need to be on it for a very long time. And that's fine too. It is not replacing one habit for another. And the reason it isn't a habit replacement, as many people have called it, is because there's a big difference between buying something off the street you don't know what it's cut with, you don't know where it's been, and it could be dirty in some way that as soon as it enters your body or your veins, it kills you. If it's prescribed by a doctor, you're not going to have to go stealing money or searching through dumpsters for things to sell to get your hands on this medicine. There's a big difference between someone who is on Suboxone that takes it every day as though it were a vitamin, and someone who has a heroin problem where they keep running out of money, they're stealing, they're lying, they're being deceitful, they're vicious when they're angry, they're ruthless when they are going through opioid withdrawal. So these are things that you need to consider as far as this medicine goes. And there's different forms. There's Subutex. The main ingredient is buprenorphine. And what it does is it latches on to, and I'm not going to go too much into the science of it, but it latches on to the opioid receptors in your brain. And it fills them up like heroin would. So in a way, it's tricking your brain into thinking that you are receiving the drugs that you are enjoying so much. But after you've been on it for a couple weeks, maybe a little less, you begin to even out. You're not getting high off of it. When you, like, if you're a heroin addict and you're switching to Suboxone and you're in withdrawal, you're going to feel a buzz from it at first. Probably for the first few days, definitely. But after you've been on it for so long, you don't really notice it anymore. You don't really feel any different. Now, if you suddenly stop taking Suboxone, you will get sick. You will go into withdrawal, but that's why they have taper programs. That's why they have you wean off the medicine very slowly to bring yourself off of it. We can solve this problem to a degree. Will it ever be completely eliminated? I don't know. I don't know how that can be done. This is a plant that grows on the earth. We would have to eradicate it, but they're not going to, because the pharmaceutical companies need it for a lot of the medicine that they produce. If you or anyone you know is being affected by this, please reach out to a resource. There are countless organizations, rehab facilities. There are good people out there who are out to help and not out to get you. Don't believe all the gossip that you find on the internet and on Facebook, on Twitter. Do your own research. Come to your own conclusions. Consult a physician, a counselor, a psychiatrist, a psychologist. People who really know what they're doing. People who have been training for years to be able to help people that are in your situation, or anybody that you know who has this issue. They are the ones that you need to consult. Don't consult the internet. I'm going to say that one more time so it sinks in. Don't go searching on the internet and asking, hey, should I take Suboxone? Talk to a doctor. Talk to a physician. Talk to somebody who is medically trained. Don't go on some message board and listen to other people's stories about how such and such didn't work for them or this thing didn't help them. Don't do that. Make some phone calls to people who have degrees, who went to school for this kind of thing. There are a lot of counselors these days who were drug addicts. They are probably the best people to talk to about this kind of thing. And if you have this issue, or if it's someone that you are very close with, that you care about deeply, act. So I'm going to get going for now. I hope this video helps somebody out there who is struggling with drug addiction, opioid addiction, or any other substance abuse problem. I meant every word of what I said. This is something that means a lot to me because of those who I've lost in my own life, people who were very close to me. And if you think that you can do something to help somebody you care about, or even yourself, don't hesitate to do it. Thanks for watching, guys. Like the video if you agree, dislike it if you disagree. This video isn't meant to be any kind of entertainment. I don't really care about the likes and the dislikes. That's not what this is about. It's about raising awareness. Share this everywhere that you can if you feel like it'll make a difference. Subscribe to the channel for all the other things that I do if you feel you can get some enjoyment out of it. I'll see you guys in the next video.